So then, Season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS has started already. I actually thought they were going to have a little bit of time off, like a couple of weeks, but no. It finishes week after. We're back on Season 2. Okay then. First things first, as you probably noticed from the start of this review, we do have a new opening in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. And this one I actually like quite a lot, to be honest with you. I think it's really good. The song, it's okay. Nothing too special about that. But I really like some of the things that are shown in the actual OP. Visually, we see a lot of foreshadowing in this as well. Maybe a little bit of darker stuff been happening in this season based on just some of the little scenes that we've had. In fact, there's so much sort of information jam-packed into that intro. I might do just a quick little run through of each of the different things that I noted in the intro. So we'll cut over to that now. First of all, we have a brand new Link VRAINS. This is the structure of the new one. Reminds me of Sword Art Online. I'll talk about that a bit later though. So here's the new Link VRAINS world. We have Yusaku walking towards the camera, looking down, and we have two of the main characters walk past him without acknowledging him, nor does he acknowledge them. However, the new character seems to make an effort to talk to him, so I wonder if that's anything more significant. We have a shot of Onizuka abandoning his Go persona, and we have a new shot of Go in his new bounty hunter uniform. We have a brand new Ignis introduced, a red fiery looking one. There is quite an ominous shot of Kusanagi with a darkened face with Yusaku looking shocked, so maybe Yusaku's going to do something to really annoy Kusanagi. Curious to how he could betray him in any way, but curious to see. We have a shot of a new character, which I think is the same character that puts his arm around Yusaku earlier in the opening, but just with his hair backwards. Don't quote me on that, but they have the same coloured hair, except obviously it's up. Another new character in the Link VRAINS uniform is some sort of star-looking duelist. Seems to have a lot of rage in him as well. He also has one of those little gems on his forehead, which I think some of the Knights of Hanoi had. We also have a young boy character that's been introduced that we do see in this episode. We have an awesome new Link VRAINS character introduced that wields the power of fire, has a fire dragon-looking thing behind him, as well as the user of the new Ignis that has been introduced. And I do believe that is the same character that had his arm around Yusaku, so maybe this character has like 3 different personas. He's got his at-school persona when he's with Yusaku, where he's friendly. He might have an evil persona because he's actually trying to infiltrate and get Yusaku's Ignis or something like that. Not too sure. And he has a Link VRAINS persona as well. We have a shot of all the code talkers in all the different attributes being released, as well as the new one that we haven't seen yet, which is the water attribute one, the blue one, so looking forward to seeing that. We have a shot of a young Kusanagi next to his brother, but his brother's face is covered, so could be some ominous foreshadowing to do with his brother. We shall see. The confirmation between the new VRAINS duelist and the duelist that puts his arm around Yusaku is the shot with them both together, having a hot dog together. You can also see the Ignis with him, so you know they're connected. So he must have some of these alternate personalities. You also see him in the VR state with his Ignis with him, so that proves that they are the same person. And that's everything I noticed. Welcome back. So those were all the things I noticed in the intro. Curious to see what happens with him. So this episode starts with Ignis going to the Cyberse world to discover it is missing or destroyed. There's basically a big crater where it would be. To me, he thinks it's been destroyed. However, to me, it seems like it's something that's been teleported. Maybe somebody else found them, and then the Cyberse's last choice was to teleport it away. Not too sure just yet, because we do see there are other Ignis monsters working with other human beings. So maybe some of them are defected or something like that. Maybe some of them are evil, as we saw, so curious to see what happens with that. However, we get an awesome moment. We saw Link Kuriboh last season, which is a creation of I. He made it, so it was nice to see that it escaped, and it was actually really adorable. It's sticking with the cree noise, but it's a little bit robotic, so it's quite nice. And just when it was trying to squeeze through that little hole, it had those little blush lines on. I thought that was pretty adorable, and it's been straight away added into Yusaku's deck, and he even summoned it straight away. I at first thought he was going to use it as a kind of tribute fodder thing, because I know it has an ability in the graveyard as well, so I was like, oh, he's got out his monster, and he goes, good luck, Link Kuriboh, do your best, and he just quickly gets rid of it, his decode talker. I thought that was what they was going to do, but no, that's fine. And you'll notice in the duel that happens in this episode as well, just as he's about to take the 2,000 damage and lose, we all know what Link Kuriboh's effect is, or at least I know what it is, so it's fine. It's going to reduce that monster's attack down to 0, or banish itself, or something like that, so Yusaku's going to be fine. Don't worry about him. First of all, Kusanagi has gone off to go look after his brother now that he's on the mend, which we'll talk about in a second. That actually made me laugh a little bit, which is quite bad, but still. Yusaku is tending to the hot dog stand in the meantime. It's kind of like a little part-time job while he's away. And we have Aoi come up, say, listen, Yusaku, I want to say a big thank you to you. And he's like, why? He says, because, oh, you helped me that one time when I was passed out. You saved me. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, just in case you thought. For a second, I did think that she'd figured out he was Playmaker. To me, it's obvious because they look so similar, but obviously to them, they don't know. Yeah, there was a nice little moment between Aoi and Yusaku. And doing a little parallel with the openings as well, you see that Yusaku is walking with his head down in the opening, and we see the characters walking past. Aoi walks past him, and he doesn't really move, but when we have that new character come up to him, he's sort of like up straight away, but that's the only character that interacts with him, so I don't know, that's interesting. I really want to know this new parallel between this new character getting introduced, because it seems to be like a best friend to Yusaku, because at the very end they're standing side by side, giving a little fist bump with their dual discs on, so, what are they doing with this season? I don't know. Anyway, the big reveal is we have a brand new Link VRAINS. I think it's the same Link VRAINS, it's just been completely remodeled or something like that because of the destruction that happened in the big battle of Hanoi. Now they've sort of revamped it. And it really gave me, because I've only just watched it, I watched Ready Player One not too long ago, and it really reminds me of that now, because that was like really crappy real world, so people go into the AI world, Oasis, because it's where they can earn money, it's where they can have fun, it's where they can really truly express themselves, because the outside world is so crappy. However, this one, the outside world seems pretty good, and you've got this online world that just people just like to go to, and they've got all these shops now, all these businesses. You want to buy a new dual board, you want to buy a new dual disc or whatever, so we've got all that kind of stuff in there, and I don't know, I just found that quite funny. It also reminded me of Sword Art Online, the first one, which there's so many parallels you can have to this. I'm sure I was making parallels between Sword Art Online when this series first started, but specifically the landscape, because the new VRAINS is kind of like, it's like a spire that goes like this, and you've got kind of levels going up, but that's kind of the same of Sword Art Online. You had to beat bosses and go up the spires kind of thing to get to the tops of the final boss, so that was something that I noticed as well. Also, we've got a new addition now. I actually didn't remember that speed duels were banned in the old VRAINS world because it was too dangerous, which makes sense, but I had no idea it was banned because people were just doing it all the time. If any of you guys remember when they mentioned that it was banned in Link VRAINS from the last season, please let me know because I don't remember it at all. So what they've done now in the new Link VRAINS is you can now speed duel. However, we've put up some safety precautions. So if you're about to fall off your speedball, I think it sort of puts you back on track. However, if you're about to, like the storm comes, it'll log you out straight away just to keep you safe. Because when Ignis comes in, he has a new ability where he can create data storms, which was a fantastic ability to have. He creates data storms, so the new character gets pushed off and he has to log out straight away. So that's an interesting feature. I do like it. I'd like to see how it serves the plot as well. But I just like the fact that when Yusaku was going through, there's all the other people on the dual boards. They're like, there's Yusaku there. That's that wanted guy. And yes, it's worth mentioning that Yusaku is now wanted in the new Link VRAINS. Only because everyone believes that he had the Ignis in his thing. So the first bounty hunter that we're introduced to that comes up to him is like, give me that AI. And he's like, I don't have it. And he goes, what's that? And you just see Ignis pop out of his dual disc. I was like, oh hell, I didn't expect that. Fair enough. So yeah, Ignis has come back because he wants some help finding out what happened to his home world. Yeah. Status Quo has literally gone back to last season. I thought we was going to have some stuff with them separate. I even said at the end of the last episode review, it's going to be weird having Yusaku alone without Ignis because those two characters need to be with each other. Because one's very funny and one's very stoic and serious, and you have to have that kind of clash with them two together. I want to talk about the bounty hunters for a second. It wasn't necessarily confirmed, but I'm pretty sure Ghost Girl is a bounty hunter. Go has sacrificed his hero Monica so he can be a bounty hunter as well. I don't know if he's doing this as sort of a side thing, so he sort of casts away his entertainment style thing so that he can do this on the sly, or he's completely given up on that because he has his own goal now that he's trying to achieve. So Go has completely changed as a character, really, which I find quite interesting. He has two, I'm going to call them lackeys for now, but they both seem to be playing similar decks to him. So maybe we'll see some more 3-on-1 duels with those two, but we'll see. Ghost Girl's had a little tiny bit of redesign. She's kind of got like a snood, capey kind of thing going on, which I was kind of hoping that all the characters would get a revamp due to the new Link VRAINS. It's like you have to recreate your avatar. I was kind of hoping that Yusaku would get a new one, but never mind. You can't have everything. And the bounty hunter that I really wanted to talk about is the guy that looks like a character from Dark Souls 3. So it's specifically the hat that I'm thinking of. It's the Abyss Watchers boss from Dark Souls 3. We're going to put a side-by-side picture between the two. I'm not joking, they remind me of that. He reminds me of that so much. We didn't get to see him use a deck in this episode. However, we do know he plays kind of like a military-style deck, specifically with jets kind of thing. So I wonder if he's a Cyberse user as well, because the gold duelist that we see in this episode, that may be being controlled, or at least helped by that little kid, he uses a Cyberse deck called, what was it called? High Drive. A High Drive Cyberse deck, so there's that. Before I forget as well, I really want to talk about it. So Kusanagi goes to visit his brother, which is really the first time we've properly seen Kusanagi's brother even speak or anything like that. We've heard mentions of him, we saw like a little snippet of him, and that was about it. We finally meet him, the doctor's saying he's doing really well now. Now that this event is over, he can finally make progress. And then we get a nice moment between Kusanagi and him sitting in a chair, and he's just saying, how are you feeling anyway? And then this thing appears on TV, comes through the TV, and I was like, oh, he's gone crazy, he's still seeing stuff. And I was like, oh no, that's really in the room, it's just come out of there. And then it does this weird, like, whatever it did, and, like, might have sucked his brain out. Yeah, no idea why he's done that. No idea what the goal or motivation is. At first I thought it was a good guy. I thought it was his AI that had been created, his Ignis, trying to help him, trying to restore his memory, trying to make him better. But then, no, that doesn't seem to be the case, so I don't know what's going on. Poor Kusanagi. He didn't make much of an effort to try and stop him. He tried to grab the ghost thing at first, and realised he passed through it. And then when the ghost thing grabbed his brother and started sucking on his face, it took him about 6-7 seconds before he was like, oh, I'll push him off him, and that worked straight away, so Another big rule that's been introduced into the Link Frame world is kind of like a Battle City kind of rule, where in Battle City, if you beat your opponent, they would have to give you their rarest card. In this one, if you beat your opponent, you're allowed to trade with them, and it didn't specify that anymore. So, does that mean that you get to see your opponent's deck and all the cards that they own, and you're like, I want that one? So is that kind of how it works? Or it's like, I want that one, do you want this one, and we have to trade kind of thing? Maybe you're allowed to make the request because you won. You like, I want to have this card rather than your opponent trying to take something. I don't understand how that works, so I'm curious to see how the trading mechanic will take part in this series. Maybe, I don't know, Yusaku loses the duel, has to give up one of his code talkers, give that to maybe the new character that's been introduced or something like that. There is one thing that I want you guys to help me with. So the gold duelist activated a Link spell card, which was part of his Link skill ability. I didn't understand what it did, and I can't bother to go rewatch it now, but it gave one of his monsters extra Link markers or something like that, and it pointed in between the two extra monster zones, and then he summoned a monster there? Or have I thought that wrong? I didn't quite understand what that card did, so if any of you guys can help me out there, how was he able to summon a monster into a zone that didn't have a Link marker pointing to it, even though Ignis says that, oh, it does have a Link marker pointing to it because of this reason? Please let me know. I didn't know what was going on. What? This episode was literally jam-packed with stuff. I found it a really good episode, a fantastic start to the new season. Animation quality looks absolutely fine, nothing really to complain about. Voice acting still seems on point. The action is there. We got a duel in the first episode, unlike the start of the last season, which I'm absolutely fine with. We also got heavy dialogue, which we learn a lot about what the characters are doing there, so we got to see little bits and pieces of everyone's lives. The only thing that we don't know what's happening to them is Revolver. So then, guys, let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. Check out my new TGS black t-shirt in the description below if you would like one yourself and want to support the channel. But, other than that though, guys, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.